The policy aims to provide an impetus to one important engine which has not been covered earlier. This is service exports. The other engine that will receive our continued attention is the special economic zones. An equally important sector, namely agriculture and allied products, which I believe to be an area of core competence, will come in for some special treatment. This, I hope, will enthuse our farming community, who constitute the bulk of India's population. I also propose to encourage further those exporters who have been pillars of our strength and to us, and urge them to attain greater heights.
He said the abundant availability of manpower places India in a unique position to take advantage of the growing opportunities in the sector. Jaitley added he recognizes the fact that with the possible exception of the software sector, India has not even made a beginning in the global market.
The EXIM policy aims at greater simplification of procedure to reduce transaction cost of exporters and improving the scale of incentives available to them. It emphasizes on corporate investment in agriculture to boost exports and benefit farmers. We take a look at the highlights of EXIM policy 2003-2004.
The policy envisages duty-free import facility for the service sector, having a minimum foreign exchange earning of 10 lakh rupees. The corporate sector will be encouraged to sponsor agri-export zones for boosting agro-exports. They will be allowed to provide services such as provision of pre- and post-harvest treatment, processing, packaging and storage. Duty entitlement passbook rates for selected agro products will factor in the cost of inputs. Duty-free import entitlement for status holders having incremental growth of more than 25% in foreign exchange value of exports. An annual advance license facility will be introduced for status holders to enable them to plan for raw material and other imports on an annual basis. To give a boost to exports in embedded software, hardware will be admissible for duty-free import for testing and development purposes. Import of 69 products covering animal products, vegetables, spices, antibiotics and films have been taken out to the restricted list. Export of 5 items: paddy other than basmati, cotton linters, rare earth, silk cocoons, family planning devices except condoms have also been removed from the restricted list. The Export Promotion Credit Guarantee Scheme would be made more flexible and attractive to enable expansion of the manufacturing base, especially to benefit the small-scale sector.
The latest from Iraq: the United States is sending thousands of additional troops to help its marines secure the southern town of Nasiriyah. The stiff Iraqi resistance in the town has slowed down supply lines to the troops advancing towards Baghdad. Elsewhere in the city of Basra, British forces have taken over an Iraqi stronghold and uncovered large ammunition dump. Meanwhile, Baghdad continues to be bombed by the coalition forces. The bombing has set off a fierce fire in the nation's information ministry building, located in the heart of the capital.
The coalition forces have stepped up their bombardment of the Iraqi capital of Baghdad. Heavy bombing shook many parts of the city as Iraq anti-aircraft fire lit up the sky in the early hours of Monday. Firefighters have been trying to extinguish a fierce blaze which has broken out in the building which houses the country's information ministry. The fire was reportedly threatening to spread to a neighboring shopping center. US officials have also claimed that one of Saddam Hussein's presidential palaces and several surface-to-air missile complexes have been hit by American satellite-guided missiles. In the south, British troops have uncovered a large ammunition dump on the outskirts of Basra. The dump, located in a series of run-down buildings, contained enough shells to supply a squadron of tanks and countless artillery guns. The coalition troops have surrounded the city but have not been able to enter it due to stiff Iraqi resistance. Meanwhile, in Washington, US Secretary of State Colin Powell has reiterated the Bush administration's determination to overthrow Saddam Hussein's regime. Powell said Saddam Hussein has been given enough time to comply with UN disarmament resolutions. He also praised US President George Bush and several other international leaders for carrying out the current military operation.
So we warned him. And we built up a massive military force on the borders to show that this time the international community meant business. But Hussein spurned that final chance. And after 12 years of Iraqi defiance and deception, we could wait no longer. He did not comply. He did not cooperate. And the issue was compliance, not more time for inspections or more inspectors. And we should be so proud tonight that there were brave and bold leaders such as George Bush and Tony Blair and President Aznar and Prime Minister Berlusconi.
The U.S. Secretary of State was addressing the annual conference of the American-Israel Public Affairs Committee. The committee is one of the most powerful U.S. Jewish lobby groups in Washington.
Anti-war protests continue both in India and Pakistan. Thousands of Muslims in Jaipur offered special prayers yesterday, seeking an early end to the war in Iraq. And in what was possibly the biggest protest in Pakistan, nearly 100,000 Muslims rallied in the city of Peshawar.
In Jaipur, thousands of Muslims